Now then, people, welcome back to the Just Joe Football Show. We did one of these with Eve. We've done one with Joe. And I was speaking to Max the other day, and I said, you know what? Let's get Max on. So we're here to just sort of round up what's been going on at Leeds United. If you could all smash me a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, get your comments in and hit the notification bell. And make sure you go on over and subscribe to Leeds lately as well. Making full-time gig of it, brother?
Yeah, trying to.
Is this common knowledge, by the way?
I said it on my transfer stream last week, but yeah, I'm hoping to, alongside doing like graphic design and stuff as well. Yeah. So
good. Well, there you go, Leeds United fans. You need to show some love to Max because he's gonna, make the plunge, as it were, and give a go at this for full time. So make sure you're going over and subscribe to Leeds lately. And show some love. Max, how's things, mate? How's this summer shaping up for you before we get into some particular items? But yeah, how's it for you? Were you enjoying it? I'm pretty chill at the minute.
I am too, I think, and I think the good thing about it is the players and the likes of the players that we've been interested and linked with. They seem like they've been well thought out, and they seem like they fit the system. Whereas in previous windows. And I've been guilty of getting excited in previous windows, but when you actually look back at it, a lot of the players that we were being linked with were Victor Orta vanity projects, and these people where you thought, oh, bloody hell, he plays for Bayern Munich, and we all got sucked into it at the time. But I think this time you can say, oh, I've not heard much about him. I'll go and have a look. Oh, yeah, he does fit the way we play. He does fit this and that. And so I'm a bit more calm about it this summer as well, because they do seem like they are players that would work for us and fit our system.
Yeah, 100%. Sorry, mate. I've just had to message my my thing because it's just.
Oh yeah.
I've just noticed it's in the title and everything. What am I doing? My bad. Sorry, mate. I was thrown there because I was like, "What are they on about?" And then I clicked. For fuck's sake.
I didn't notice either, to be fair.
No, exactly, man. I agree with you, mate. We're definitely going down a certain route, and I think the players that have been linked, there's not one really where I've gone meh. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even like with Nmecha, it makes total sense to me because he's free and it's he could absolutely bang, and if he doesn't, it's 2 years by. You know,
it's the thing with Nmecha. Yeah, some people could say, oh, it's a little bit underwhelming, and I had comments on my TikToks and YouTube Shorts doing little analysis of him and stuff, saying, oh, he's awful, whatever, he's crap. But when you actually think about it, he's free and he is going to be a third choice striker. So when you think about it in that sense, you think, well, who was our third choice striker? Well, Mateo Joseph, and obviously there's been discussions about Mateo Joseph, but he didn't really do anything last season. No. He scored 2 or 3 goals spaced about 6 months apart and didn't really do anything. So this is an upgrade on that. So you can't really complain for free.
No, you can't, mate. I agree. And love the show, Joe, but please cut the my bad.
Huh? I think he just means the use of the phrase "my bad," but like,
oh, no, I won't cut that. I always do. Yeah, my bad for saying my bad, Tim.
Yeah, I was going to say my bad, Tim. Sorry, my bad.
Look, Graham Smith did an article earlier on. I don't know if you've had a chance to read through it, but he's apparently now wanted by PSV, I believe it is. The Dutch...
Graham Smith.
Yeah,
you didn't mention Hamer. You just said Graham Smith. Yeah.
Okay, Gus Hamer is wanted by PSV. This is according to a reputable journalist in Holland. Is one of the high number of options over there. They believe they can get it done between 7 and 10 million, by the way, which is mad.
That's optimistic, isn't it?
Yeah, because we obviously had 13, and I understand why it was rejected last summer. Maybe it would come down this summer because, you know, they're a championship club. The YEP do confirm that Leeds are admirers, and he is on the list of creative players they would like to bring in. However, he has fallen down the pecking order of candidates for the number 10 role for Farke's team. This is what is in print on the YEP. What do you make to them comments, mate? And would you like him? Or I actually don't mind him, you know.
Yeah, he's one of them, isn't he, where it's because there's been such a long kind of connection with Leeds, this thing of us wanting him a couple of years ago, and when a transfer like that is kind of keep resurfacing all the time, you get to the point, don't you, where everybody's like, oh bloody hell, like is he going to sign, or is it just they're just recycling the rumour? I do think he's a very good player. I do think that he's better than the Championship. Whether he fits Daniel Farke's system exactly is less certain, I think, but he's definitely got the talent for it. And look, he got Player of the Season in the Championship. Arguably, some people said he shouldn't have done, but
I don't think he should have, by the way.
No, but he was able to kind of create a lot of chances, scored goals. He's got a lot to like, but
he did that in the Prem as well for Sheffield United. He did score goals in the Prem for Sheffield United.
But we are now in a bigger pond, if you will. We can fish in a bigger pond.
Yeah.
So there are options, and I wonder if it's one of those where Leeds are going to be kind of keeping their options open, and if they can't get anyone, then they might go back and get Gus Hamer. Because I think there's obviously with the Lyon being relegated due to financial reasons, that Mikotadze, he has played as a number 9, but I think he could play as in that number 10 with how creative he is. So there might be possible deals like that to do. And apparently he's, you know, when Leeds got relegated, all our players had release clauses and loan clauses and stuff. Apparently Mikotadze had a €22 million release clause. So if that's the same as what we played for Jaka Bijol, so if you could get a deal like that across the line, it would make more sense to do that, I think, than get Gus Hamer. But Gus Hamer's still, I can understand why he's still on the list.
Yeah, no, definitely. There's a few comments about Ruben Celis coming out and saying he wants to be. Of course, the manager's going to say that, the new Sheffield United manager. That there's, for me anyway, Hamer will not be a Sheffield United player come the start of the season. It's exactly like you have to cut your cloth accordingly. We lost Rutter. We lost Somerville. We lost Gray. They will lose some of their better players. They gave him a year to try get up. They didn't go up. Boom. He will. Listen, if Leeds don't take him, someone else will.
Yeah, there's a few of that. There's a few of that side. You can imagine that somebody like Burnley might go in and try and get Ahmed Hodzic. Picking up because they've lost a couple of their centre backs. So I think there will be a few defenders and a few midfielders and stuff that get picked apart from that Sheffield United side. So of course they'd like to keep the best players, and that's what the manager's going to say. But money talks. Yeah,
exactly. Vinny Souza could be one, like you mentioned there. Ahmed Hodzic as well is definitely a player that can play in the Premier League. I did see Burnley have just signed Twanzebe from Ipswich. I tell you, this came to. This was in the article as well, which I wasn't aware of. I don't know if it's news to you. But Nmecha actually turned down Burnley for an Ellen Road move as well.
Did he?
Yeah. So they talk about the signing and then say, well, the YEP understands Nmecha turned down Burnley for an Ellen Road move. So again, maybe your man Joshua Gulavogi told him, no, mate, don't be going to Burnley, get yourself to Leeds United. But that shows you as well that it's not just a no-mark signing, because if other Premier League clubs wanted him, then, and I know it's Burnley, but they are on the same level of us.
It was a sensible transfer. If somebody like that's going for free, it's a sensible thing to do, to go, do you know what, I think we could do something with him. And we are a bigger club than Burnley. They've been more established in the Premier League in the last few years, but now that they've been up and down a bit more, it's not an attractive prospect, I don't think, Burnley. I think Leeds are the side that you look at, are the ones that came up who are the most likely to stay up, which I think will be in a lot of the players' thinking as well when they're going to sign for a newly promoted side. If you're going to sign for a newly promoted side, it's got to be us, really.
Yeah, no, you would think so, right? Sunderland obviously are a massive club as well, but I think.
But in terms of their staying power, I don't think they're ready.
Is not as fruitful as what ours are at the minute. That's for sure. What did you make to the signing of Bijol, mate? Obviously, we haven't spoken for some time. 15 million, great price, and looks like he'll fit in the Premier League, doesn't he?
Yeah, well, when I spoke to Andrea about it, because obviously he's a lot more of an expert on Italian football, so I had a crack with him, and he kind of compared him to Acerbi, who plays for Inter, and a bit of Harry Maguire about him as well, apparently. in terms of like, he's not the best with the ball at his feet, which doesn't necessarily work out for our system, but he's an excellent stopper and a man-to-man defender, somebody who is tall, aerially strong. And I do think that's something that will be good in the Premier League. I think Robin Koch, Diego Llorente and Pascal Strauch, when we had them, they were all a little bit
weak.
Yeah, they weren't the kind of defenders that solidify you.
Game, Max. West Ham scored like 3 headed goals against us. One Souček. They just every corner it went in. Do you remember there was a time where it was like a corner, it was a goal.
And we could never do it at the other end because we didn't have the height. So if you've got Rodon and Bijol at the back to head, like honestly, the amount of aerial battles that Joe Rodon won last season when corners came into the box, he was like, oh, it's Rodon again, he's headed it away. I think Bijol adds to that. The only thing is, I keep thinking they're both right-footed, and I don't think either of them are particularly good on their left. So does that mean that we are going to see a bit of a 3 at the back? If we are, it'll probably work out all right. I think it would. I think it would do well in that system. But yeah, I'm just worried about how they're going to fit in together. But as a signing, he is. They say like you solidify from the back and then build from there, don't you?
Yeah, decent spine. Get a decent spine. Yeah, I saw that on that take online yesterday about a potential 3 centre backs and wing backs. I'm not so sure. But if we did that, I mean, we need more centre-backs then, because that would leave us with next to no options off the bench, wouldn't it? Yeah. So, do you think he will go with the 4-2-3-1? I was thinking maybe a potential 3-man midfield with Tanaka, Ampadu and this box-to-box 8, whoever that might be.
I think what it's going to be is that this season is going to require a lot more rotation and changes of formation than what we did last year. When you're the best team in the division, like in the Championship, you can go, we're going to play our game and you're going to not be able to do anything about it. In the Premier League, when you're at the bottom, it's the top teams, like the Man Cities, the Arsenals, the Liverpools, they're going to be going, what have you got? We're going to play like this. So you do kind of need to adapt a bit more. So I think sometimes, you're right. If we sign a 10 and sign another central midfielder, then you've got the option to go, okay, no 10 this game, he's on the bench, let's play 3 in midfield. Or like I said, 3 at the back, but you have Bogle and Gudmondsson, if we signed him, as the wing backs who can then go forward, but you still play with wingers and a striker, but just 2 in midfield, and then you have full-backs like Bogle or Gudmondsson. They would tuck in almost to make it a 3 in midfield as well. So I think it has to be 4-2-3-1 is probably what he's going to have as this is my formation. But in games, I think he's going to go, we're going to have to change this and move things around. Or you have to adapt to survive. So hopefully that's what he's going to do. But we just need the signings to make those formations a possibility.
100%. I think a good case study for what you've said is like Thomas Frank at Brentford, because when Brentford were in the Champo, they played some lovely football under Frank. They move up, changed it completely. He makes sure they're stable. It'll now be interesting to see what Frank does at Spurs, because now he's one of the better sides, and he's very tactically astute, probably better so than Farke. But that is a good point you make of like Farke probably looked at the game and said, well, I don't need to change what I'm doing because my team is just far and away the better of the sides. And when he did need to change it, he remember when he had to stop the bleeding and we went to West Brom and it was a stinking 0-0, but we needed that at that time. I know people didn't enjoy the game, but we were leaking goals. We went.
Yeah. Those are the signs of the best managers, I think, because sometimes you see managers just go, oh, we're sticking with this no matter what. And you see it even in the top divisions, and they'll get absolutely slaughtered for it. But when you change within a game, I remember Gary Neville saying when he was managing Valencia, it was against Barcelona or something, and he said their manager changed his formation like 3 times within the game, and Gary Neville was stood on the touchline going, I can't compete with this. So there's a difference between having someone who can actually go and change the system within the game to be able to basically fit the situation. Yeah.
No, you bang on, mate. I remember listening to a podcast, and this was last summer, and they were saying, managers like Iriola and stuff, that's the way management's going, being able to change the system in game. And some managers that are stuck in their ways. And they mentioned Moyes, actually. Like, Moyes doesn't do that as much as others. Because I remember, the reason I remember that is because people were saying we should sign Moyes. It was that period when they were like, we need to get Moyes in. And I was like, really? But talking on midfield, I think Vic makes a good point as well. Maybe you're signing a 10 who can drop in as an 8 would be ideal, and that could be Hamer. But while we stick on the midfield chat, we still retain an interest in Habib Diarra. We bid 22 million. It said they want close to 25. We've also been linked to Noah Sadiki from USG, Union Saint-Gilloise in Belgium. So, out of them, mate, do you know much about them as individuals? I'm assuming you've done a bit of research since they were linked. Obviously, Sadiki was on Andrea's scouting report. I think Sadiki's more likely at this point. It definitely seems like the club are holding out for Diarra, because I think Sadiki, and Graham said this on the Inside Ellen Road pod yesterday, he thinks they could get the Sadiki done deal pretty quick comparative to what's happening with Diarra. So they clearly, obviously, still have all eggs on him first.
I think that Sadiki is Diarra light, as in Lite. He's like a similar type of player, but to be honest, there's not that much difference between them in terms of quality from what I've seen. Diarra's playing in a higher division, in the French First Division, and doing really well with Strasbourg. So that's probably why his
as well, done it at 20.
Yeah, exactly. So he's got a lot about him, Diarra. He likes to like get forward, and we keep talking about this player that we need in the Rothwell role. But I think Diarra and Sadiki are more progressive than Rothwell. I think Rothwell was just the most progressive midfielder we had, whereas these players will get beyond the strikers and make those third-man runs into the box and score goals and get assists, whereas Rothwell, he got forward a lot more than Tanaka and Ampadu, but would still kind of find himself on the edge of the box at maximum.
He'd enter the space that was free, but then wouldn't, Sadiki showed that, not Sadiki, Diarra, when he scored that goal against England for Senegal, that
to go beyond and to find himself in the half space, which is where Farke loves a lot of his goals to come from. This is why, as well, when I was talking about playing 3 at the back, he's always talking about having a number 10 that can drift from side to side and can help out the wingers, but our winger and our fullback like to rotate. One sometimes comes inside and the other one goes outside. But if you've got a number 8 that can do that number 10 role, like Diarra or Sadiki could do, to get forward and get in the half space as well, that also helps out create overloads on the right and left hand side, depending on which side he's playing on. So I do think that Diarra and Sadiki are a similar mould of player. I've done a lot more research on Sadiki. I think he's brilliant, and I think the signing would be 8.5 million, and I think it's one of those Brighton style signings where people go, oh, Leeds have signed this Sadiki fella, I never heard of him, and he'll be brilliant, like a Caicedo kind of signing. But like you say, I think it's that Leeds are looking at Diarra because he's more established, he's more of like got European pedigree, and going, let's bring him in, and if we can't, we can just go and pick Sadiki up on the side. Isn't that what we did with Glenn Kamara? And we couldn't get someone else, could we?
Yeah, because I think we were trying to get Tanaka, weren't we?
Yes, that's when we were first going for Tanaka, and we couldn't get him, so we went and bought Glenn Kamara. So it could be a similar situation, because the Kamara thing seemed to be floating around in the background for ages, didn't it? And it kind of, as soon as we got told no on Tanaka, it was like, oh yeah, Kamara's in now. So I think that might be the situation, because similar mould of player.
Yeah, potentially, definitely. And where do you think that leaves Aronson, mate? Like, so obviously he's a midfielder. He says he prefers to play as an 8. Do you still see a place for him in the squad going into next season? I don't think they'll sell him. Not even just financially, it doesn't make sense, because we bought him for like 25 million. So
I think it was 22 rising, wasn't it, or something like that. But I think that it's probably an unpopular opinion. I like him. But
it's not unpopular on this parish, don't worry.
No, just don't put the entire creative outlet of the team on his shoulders. Give him a chance. Like, I watched the highlights back of there's like an extended highlights that the Premier League put out the other day of when Leeds beat Chelsea 3-0 at home. I was at that game. And Aronson, honestly, tore Koulibaly a new one, and then nicked the ball off the goalkeeper. The amount of running he does and the pressing he does, I think is important in the Premier League. Yep. But I'd like to see him on the bench as an option to come on. And I think Joe might have mentioned it the other day. He can also play on the right-hand side or the left-hand side of midfield. Wherever you play him, you're going to get a lot of running out of him, pressing, tackling, trying to win you the ball back. His decision-making's not fantastic, but if he's a backup from the bench, I think you bring him on late in a game and everybody's tired and he's running like that, it's going to be scary for opposition players trying to play out.
Definitely, I agree, mate. And there seems to be this notion, I was actually chatting with the lads yesterday, and there seems to be this notion that if all you do is run, that's a bad thing. Like, you need to be able to run for 90 minutes. Like, listen, we're playing football in a few weeks, mate. I don't think I'll be able to do that running for 90 minutes. Do you know what I mean?
Well, some players have built a career on that, and people this might be a bit of a harsh comment, but I think it kind of works for somebody like James Milner. Now, James Milner, his best attribute by a mile is his fitness, and it always has been, for the fact that he can still do it now. His fitness is his best attribute. He had the quality as well when he was younger as well to get forward and to score goals and stuff. But when you look at him now, he's played right back for Liverpool. He's played central midfield. He's played on the right and the left. And he has that ability to play wherever you put him, like a Stuart Dallas as well. Stuart Dallas was never amazing at one particular thing, apart from being amazing at everything, if you get what I mean. So I'm not saying that Aronson is that type of player, but players have built careers on being aggressive, running your pan out and doing it for the team. So
that's a good point as well.
Yeah.
And he's doing all right over in Atletico Madrid, isn't he? He's a cardio machine. Yeah, exactly. I don't think it's a bad thing, especially off the bench as well. Lille left back Gudmondsson, you touched on. He seems to only be the credible one, really, that's got any weight at this point. I know Alex Moreno was linked. Hugo Bueno as well, but it seems like Gudmundsson's definitely been flirting with it as well.
I really like Gudmondsson.
Yeah,
I did a deep dive on him the other day. Similar in terms of attributes to Junior Firpo, like finding himself. You know, a lot of the time last season, Firpo would score a goal and everyone would go, bloody hell, he's on the corner of the 6-yard box. But that's what Farke wants him to do, to get into that half space, to get into the box and attack the goal and score headers. And that's where Gudmondsson finds himself, scoring goals and getting assists. So people saying, I hope he can defend. He can't really. He can, but his statistics aren't great for his defending. And when you look at him, he's more of an attacking player, which is why I think, again, 3 at the back with him as a wing back could work better. But I also think he could work as a left back. In this system,
we could get 2 then, mate.
I think we should. We should. I think, as much as we love Sam Byram, and it pains me to say it, I think Sam Byram as a Premier League defender in 2025, it's not the greatest option to have.
Yet either. I don't think he signed it as it, so it must be very derisory, if you like.
Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking. So what I was thinking is that we should sign Hugo Bueno as a backup left back and sign Gudmondsson as the starting left back. Then you've got youth to come through and challenge him for his position, and you've got somebody who's already established. I think he's 26, Gudmondsson, so just coming into the prime of his career. And I think he really fit. This is what we're talking about right at the start, right at the top of the show. We were talking about whether we like what we've seen from the transfer window so far. Yeah. He really fits what we want to do in this system. That's why I like him. And I think, I'd really want to get him, because apparently on Transfermarkt, I know you always take it with a pinch of salt because the club will maybe ask for more than that, but on Transfermarkt, they say he's only worth about 7 million.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to cost a lot, I don't think it's going to cost a lot.
So again, I think it's clever. I think the thing is, teams over the last couple of years, so your Man Uniteds and your Chelseas, they've gone, who's everybody say has the highest potential? Who's the person that everybody say, he's going to be amazing in a few years? Buy him. Don't think about whether he fits our team or not. Just go out and buy him. Whereas I think we're doing the opposite thing here, where if anybody else in the league who doesn't play the same style as us bought Gudmondsson, he might be absolutely crap. But because he fits our system perfectly, you might have a really good season for us if we signed him. Do you get what I mean? So
I do, mate.
it's like Brighton. I think some of their players wouldn't have done well if other teams have signed them, but because of the way they play and because of like they've always recruited managers that kind of follow on from each other in similar styles. All the players seem to continue to work well. So I think Gudmondsson would be a steal for that price.
Definitely. We'll have to wait and see. But it looks like one that could be an easy deal to get done as well. I think we'll see players like that come through the door pretty quick after July the 1st, I would hope. Anyway, moving on to the number 9 before we talk about some potential exits, mate. Rodrigo Muniz came out from Sky Sports today. Not for sale. We did bid 32 million, which that excites me as a fan because I'm like, at least Leeds are ready to splash the cash. I think it's going to take somewhere close to 40, and maybe he's going to have to push for the move as well. What do you make? I mean, Graham Smith makes a good point saying that within a year, the World Cup, he'll want regular game time. Will Fulham give him assurances? Potentially not.
He'd be first choice, wouldn't he, at Leeds if he came in?
Yeah, that's the thing. He comes in and he's our number 9, and with Pirro probably coming off the bench, and then you've got maybe Bamford, Nmecha, etc., and potentially Joseph, which we'll talk about soon. But what do you reckon to Muniz? And there hasn't really been many links outside of him, has there, really? I think he's their number 1 target.
Yeah, and I think that it's maybe important to note as well that we bid 26 million plus 6 million in add-ons, which is what put it up to that 32, according to the reports.
Yeah.
So, look, those add-ons might be if Leeds stay up in the Premier League, or they might be if Leeds get above 15th or something like that, or if he scores a certain amount of goals or whatever clause that they might have. So there's no guarantee that they might actually get that money.
True.
So if Leeds have maybe bid 32 or 35 million, that's it there, then maybe they might have had to think about it, but maybe it's because of that. But either way, them saying that they don't want to sell him is a little bit of a, how much are you going to bid then? Yeah. I think they're playing the game well there. I think he'd really suit us. I think he'd do well for us. And I think, like you say, he seems to be the number 1 target because we seem to keep hearing the reports over and over again.
I think at the end of the day, Max, money talks. Everyone has a price. He's already done this sort of cryptic post on Instagram where he was like, "You'll miss me when I'm gone," that he deleted and all this sort of stuff. So he won't be happy. South Americans notoriously don't have chill characters. He'll be shouting the odds saying, "Listen, I want to be playing." Jimenez plays ahead of him. They've been linked to the guy Pepe, I think.
Ricardo Pepe from PSV, American, isn't he? The striker.
The American. So maybe they're already looking at options. So I think it's not off the cards, regardless of what Fulham are saying. They're not going to come out and say, "Yeah, he is for sale this summer," are they? Do you know what I mean? So,
and I think also they wouldn't sell him until they'd signed Ricardo Pepe, if that's who they're going for. I think they're not going to let him go because some clubs do it, don't they? They find themselves in a situation where they go, "Oh, we can't. We've sold you a player, and now we can't get the target that we wanted." Yeah. So now we're. I think it was a ridiculous example, wasn't there? When I think someone got injured, and Barcelona got special allowance to buy a striker, so they bought Martin Braithwaite from one of the other clubs in Spain, and then that Spanish club who sold him said, "Oh, can we? Because we've just sold our striker, can we get one now?" And they were like, "No." Outside the transfer window, so you don't want to put yourself in that situation, do you? So I can imagine that they probably want to make sure they get their guy before selling.
Yeah, 100%, mate. You're right. It's funny you mentioned that because the only FM I've got on my computer is 22, and I've been playing it again, and I needed a backup to Bamford, and I went and signed Braithwaite on loan from Barca. I was like, he'll do. Put it this way, I got sacked, so it didn't go well.
It was mad in real life that Barcelona signed an ex-Middlesbrough striker that just wasn't that good.
No, he wasn't, was he? He definitely wasn't. Mad funny that name, just mad.
Yeah.
Right. Let's just talk briefly on exits, mate, because it's been pretty quiet. Well, did you see the picture earlier on of Firpo in the Betis Mark Rocker shirt?
No, I didn't.
Oh, have you not seen that? I'll have to show you, folks. It's a little bit wounding because obviously he's Holbert. We know he's going anyway, but he's obviously training for like pre-season, and he's got the Mark Rocker shirt there. Yeah, so that's definitely an Instagram. I'm coming home to Mark. Isn't it? Like that's definitely. If we saw a player with the Leeds thing on, you'd think exactly the same. So bit sad seeing that, but it is what it is. We know he's going. Betis coming our feeder club, really, or we're sending our players there. Mateo Joseph being linked, mate. I think we disagree, don't we, on how we think this transfer might go? Would you, or is it? Do you think he'll be sold, or you would prefer a loan kind of idea?
I'd prefer a loan, and I do think we probably will loan him. But I often think as well that Spanish, when you loan out a player, I think a lot of the time they do better abroad than what they do in the Championship. So I think it may be giving him a run at like first team football in the Spanish division or in Germany or whatever. We saw that obviously Jadon Sancho's career has kind of gone off the boil a little bit, but a lot of the time people like Jadon Sancho get loaned out to Germany and do really, really well there and then come back. Mateo Joseph one, I'd like to, because I want to see the way we saw him in pre-season, the runs he made, the positions he got himself in and the goals he scored. He's got that striker's instinct. So he's got that at least, and that kind of comes naturally. So I'd like to see whether he can actually do anything, whether he can actually go out. And if he doesn't do anything after a season on loan, probably get rid of him then. But I'd like to see him at least have a chance to have a full first team season.
Do you think that he won't be at Leeds this season in any guise? Because I think it's from what we're reading and whatnot, I think Joseph wants to play as well, and he needs to play. So if it's a loan or it's a sale, I don't think he's going to be here. Do you?
No, I don't think so. I think the signing of Nmecha kind of confirms that, because he was the third choice, or him and Bamford were kind of tussling for who was the worst third choice. But I think with Nmecha coming in and potentially us to sign another striker again, he could be down to fourth or fifth choice striker. So you're never going to get a game, are you? And I think Bamford will be on the way out as well if he's going to be fourth choice.
See, I think he'll just stick out a year. I think he'll just stick, because his contract's up then and he can go where he wants, really.
But he's getting older, isn't he? So he's maybe not got... there was rumours of Wrexham early in the window, wasn't there? But
Paddy Mullen they've just signed, haven't they? From no, sorry, not Paddy Mullen. He's just left. They've signed Ryan Hardy from Plymouth, who scored.
Oh right,
yeah. So
because they got relegated, didn't they? So
So I don't know if that's genuine. I think it's more fans saying that, man, because Gelhart's been mentioned as well. But I think Bamford stays. He's happy being on the periphery. I think he stays, and he's that third choice or fourth choice, whatever it may be. He'll feel that he can do enough, because I saw like interviews with Bamford. He's like saying my game's more suited to the Prem, and I think he backs himself, and he's like the guy that'll just never die. Like he always has a renaissance once a season at least.
He seems pretty chilled, to be fair, as well. Like he's not going to really kick up too much of a fuss, but when he gets his chance, he's going to try his hardest. So I don't hate it.
Yeah. Joe Blackburn says, "Evening lads, what's Max doing here? Asking for mercy for the mighty Roses." How's your team shaping up, mate?
It's all right. We've got some things moving in the background. I've already got people referring to me as Skipper on social media. So
Funny.
where's
Matt?
I went and bought some boots today. I should have got a captain's armband. I thought when I left I should have got a captain's armband.
Yeah, you've got to wear it, mate. Because I don't know about you, Max, right? I know it's for charity and it's so fun, but obviously I want to win. But I want to lift the inaugural trophy. I'm not even lying. I want to be able to go...
It's probably like the one chance that we'll get to play in somewhat of a stadium in front of a crowd. And actually, it'll
man, honestly,
it'll be good either way. But I hope we win too. I hope we all win.
Who's your? I mean, you don't have to give.
We have announced on who's on what side now, haven't we?
Yeah. Who's your best player, do you think?
See, I don't know too much about some of the lads. I know that Danny's supposed to be pretty good, isn't he? Up top.
Danny Mountain, I think so,
Yeah, so I think we've got a few in there. I've got a few ringers.
Okay.
Not giving too much away though.
No, Simon Jordan's good, obviously. Simon Jordan. What?
Simon Johnson.
Simon Jordan, for God's sake.
He's so
Simon
random if he was just playing, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Imagine he just turns up. Yeah, I think Jack City's a baller, you know. You need to watch out for him. Jack City. Where are you playing, Max?
Well, I put down my preferred position is right back. That's kind of always where I've played open age football, but maybe a little bit of cheeky holding midfield as well.
Okay.
The
Coming up with tactics. What's this shit?
No, I don't mean at the same time as playing right back. I mean like if I could play both.
Like inverting to play.
No.
Out of possession.
No, I'm the
possession and out of possession tactics. These lot.
I'm the new Ailing.
Yeah, I love that. Is it 5-a-side or 7-a-side? It's 11-a-side, Kershaw. 11-a-side. You best be there. Yeah, £7 for adults, £3 for juniors. Make sure you get them bought. It'll be great to see everybody there. I know Max is excited. I'm absolutely hyped. And it's 24 days away now. So just a little over 3 weeks away. So exciting. Max has been to get his boots. I got mine the other week. So, yeah, it's getting close. Captain's armbands are out and everything. So make sure you going on. To finish up, mate, who else do we think could potentially leave? I think Gruev could go to Germany. I think we might see a quick flip.
I like Gruev. And I think...
I do as well.
I think he offers you something. I think some games we're going to have to play with a more defensive setup. Yeah. And I think Gruev being in the midfield for that. So say if we signed a Sadiki or a Diarra, in certain games, you're playing against Man City, you're playing against Liverpool, I think you drop Sadiki or Diarra and you play Gruev instead. Because if we have got somebody like Gudmondsson who is trying to get forward to help out when they're attacking, Gruev always drops in and covers the fullback position. So I think he's got that position locked down as basically, I think he's going to be on the bench, but I think he's going to be someone who could come on and do well defensively because his tackling's always been really good.
Yeah, he's good. I think structurally as well, he's very good off the ball and he knowing where to be and stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
tracking runners and stuff. I like Gruev.
No, that's fair.
There's been Melier rumours
I don't want to sell him, by the way. I'm not saying sell him. I just think he could be flipped. But if they don't need to sell, then yeah, I'm more than happy with him being on the bench as well.
Yeah,
definitely, because we've got a small squad as it is, haven't we? So we don't really want to be.
Yeah, we don't want to flip too many players and bring because you kind of need to keep that harmony of most of it still be in the same squad, don't you?
Yeah, no, you do, mate. You do for sure. Are you confident? I've just been on another podcast there, and the general consensus among the Premier League is that we're going to get relegated, but I genuinely think we're going to stay up, Max.
Especially because of Brentford. They look like they're going to be poor this year. They've lost Norgard as well as... Yep. Norgard's gone to Arsenal as well as Mbermo, as well as Thomas Frank leaving. I think that they're going to struggle this season. They've got their coach is obviously been their set-piece coach and now is the manager. And so, look, it could go one of two ways. And I also think that Wolves are going to struggle as well. I think that's the general consensus, isn't it, that Wolves might struggle. And I think Burnley are going to really struggle. So I think there's 3 teams that are going to be worse than us, at least.
Yeah, I think so as well. I do. Kershaw has asked, what do you think happens to Jack Harrison?
I think he needs to go. Because we don't play the football that suits Jack Harrison anymore. Our wingers need to be able to. Jack Harrison plays on the left hand side so that he can cross the ball into the box, and that was always his best thing, was his delivery. Yeah. And I don't think that's Leeds don't really cross the ball very much in terms of whipped balls into the box. Our wingers,
like you mentioned earlier, the midfielders making them runs to the byline, etc. We're not going to get that from Jack, are we?
No, and I think our wingers now are, if you're right-footed, you play on the left-hand side. If you're left-footed, you play on the right-hand side for the most part. I know Dan James has been playing out on the right. But a lot of them are running into the box, into the half space, and scoring goals as basically an extra striker cutting inside. I don't think that's Jack Harrison's game at all, as well as all the other stuff off the pitch and everything. So I think he needs to go. And I think somebody, I think a Burnley or a Sunderland might take him. If not, I would hesitate to say top of Championship, because I think he thinks he's better than that. So I think it would be America or Turkey or...
Do you not think he's better than the Championship, Max?
Just about.
Really?
I think he's a relegation threatened player. Wherever he goes, he plays. Do you get what I mean? I don't think he's doing better than a relegation threatened club in England.
Do you not? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, it's fair. It's just I think he's the one player from our squad that stayed in the Premier League.
Yeah, but he didn't do very well, I don't think. Last season, I think he had one goal or something, didn't he? But I get what you're saying, and I've liked him in the past. I really used to like Jack Harrison, but I think
it just doesn't suit us now. And I think
he doesn't suit us now. Yeah,
best for all parties if there is a parting of the ways. Definitely, I think. Well, we've done 42 minutes, mate. We've squeezed a lot out of that. It was a really enjoyable show. Do you want to tell people about Leeds lately? They'll know about it, but if they don't, there's 500 people in the house. Make sure you smash a like and go subscribe to Max. Tell people what they can expect on the channel, brother.
Yeah, at the moment we've just been doing a lot. I say me on my own. I've just been doing a lot of like deep dives on the players. So when we do get linked with a new player, I'm not necessarily saying, oh, we're definitely signing this person. I do like a deep dive with a bit of video analysis at the end, basically saying this is the player, this is how they fit into our system, and this is actually analysis of how they play, so you can see it being proven. A bit of talk about the statistics as well. So basically, kind of a bit similar to what Andrea and Lockie do on here with the scouting reports that they do, but like probably a little bit more in depth on one player that we've been linked with. So it's basically you look at it and go, oh, who's that guy? I've not heard of him before. So my channel's basically this is who he is, this is how he plays, and this is how he fits. And that's a lot of what I've been doing over the transfer window.
Nice. Well, Max, it's been a pleasure to have you on, and good luck. Obviously, maybe we can talk on some graphic stuff, mate, and maybe send some work your way, brother, if you're needing it. So, yeah, because I definitely do need help with that. But listen, folks, thanks for tuning in. Make sure you go on over and check Max out. If anything happens, I will obviously speak on it, but I'm expecting not much to happen. I'm just gonna this is in the article. That Graham Smith, that we've sort of just touched on there, he did say a third signing is not currently imminent. However, as Leeds continue to work on a number of possible deals, and unless there is a sudden breakthrough, further movement could come next week. So it's probably going to be a quiet ending to the transfer window. Sorry, to this week, not to the transfer window, to this week. Dan Potts, where I've just been. The raid's a little bit too late because I'm just finishing up. But if you are joining us, thank you. Actually, before we go, let's see where we can send this to. Let's see who's about for the redirect, and we'll do that as well, so we can share the love. Let's have a look. No one's live. Never mind. No one's live, folks. I don't think.
There's a fella called Just Joe Football Show that's live.
Yeah. Smash a like on the video, subscribe to this channel. We're almost at 35k as well, folks. We're on 34,930, so we're just 70 subscribers away, and they're not bought. They're not bought. They've worked hard for. So yeah, that Hussam's mad. Is Hussam live? Is he? Is the Don Hussam live? Let me just double check. Are you sure? Did someone say that? Sorry about this.
Did you see that Mellier's also been linked with a move to Fenerbahce?
Yeah, what do you make to that? I don't think it's got anything...
They've apparently made inquiries but not made a bid. So they have contacted Leeds and said how much would he be or whatever it was. Apparently that's what I'm sure... Who was it that one of the Leeds journos did tweet that they've made inquiries about him.
Okay.
But I think honestly, it's probably a good move for Leeds
To get
because
rid.
I remember listening to Ben Foster on his Fozcast, and he spoke to that goalkeeper super agent. What's he called? He used to be a goalkeeper himself. I can't remember what he's called. Someone told me on my stream the other day. But he said that once one goalkeeper moves, it's like dominoes because everybody needs a first team goalkeeper. No one wants to make the first move, but once they do, then all the goalkeeper moves happen at once.
Yeah, of
so
course, like dominoes.
yeah, so Burnley have already bought their goalkeeper. He's just signed for them. So that seems like that means that James Trafford's on his way out, which means he's obviously then going to Newcastle. That maybe Pope is free. So as soon as Trafford goes to Newcastle, the whole thing starts going round. Then the whole merry-go-round of goalkeepers. So yeah, I think that'll start on the 1st of July.
What do you think we will get Nick Pope? Do you think that's one?
He seemed like he wanted to stay, didn't he?
I know, I hear that, right? But this is my thinking. He's got a year left on his deal, right? If you said to him at 33, we'll give you 3 years, he's taking it.
Yeah.
For his family, stability, all that sort of stuff. Like,
I think people have been...
I'll stay, but then what happens in a year's time for him? Whereas we go, there's a contract with 3 years.
Plus the World Cup as well.
Yeah, exactly. So
I think a lot of people have been saying... I made a short about it a while ago, and people are going, "Oh, he's too old." But like goalkeepers, that's not how it works on goalkeepers. Some goalkeepers, like Buffon, played until he was 40 odd and was brilliant still. So it's not. Goalkeepers can play for longer and still do really, really well. So I think even having Nick Pope for 2 years, 2 years of solidity at the back in the Championship, someone who's massively tall and able to claim crosses, could be huge. And it's what Newcastle did. When they were staying up, when they were first revitalising their project, they signed Nick Pope. The template is there to sign the exact same player.
100%. You're right, mate. You are. Just your Uncle Rod's TV. Yeah, Ryan, I've just tried to do it, but his redirect settings are not on. You have to actually put I did find him, mate. You have to put redirect settings on, and when I try redirect, it's not available. So you'll have to have a chat with him for next time, because it's something you have to change. Unfortunately, there's no one to redirect to at this moment in time. But I'm just having a look now on my home page. There is none. No. But yeah, if you do that, if you have a chat with him, brother, if you have a chat with him, then next time I can redirect. I did find his channel, but you need to change it in settings. But listen, folks, thanks everyone for watching. Go and raid to Uncle Rod's TV anyway. Although you won't go directly over, just go on over and say, Just Joe shares the love. Thanks for watching, folks, and we'll see you in a bit. Bye-bye now. Thanks, Max.